I honestly can't trust anything anymore. I'd even go as far as calling that woman a husband snatcher. I was invited to my best friend Kate's wedding and was asked to make a speech as a representative of her friends. It was such a perfectly cast that I shivered a little.
Julie, you have to come.
Hearing Kate's cheerful voice on the phone, I smirked to myself. Of course, I'll be there. I'll make it an unforgettable wedding.
Thank you.
Clueless as ever, Kate had no idea about my revenge. As long as she doesn't understand what I mean, she'll stay blissfully unaware. I hung up the phone and clutched my phone tightly. Just you wait. Just like you took what you wanted, now I'm going to take your happiness away. The day of the wedding. The ceremony proceeded smoothly, and then it was my turn. Kate has been nothing but a thief to me. Starting with those words, I went on to reveal her numerous misdeeds. The wedding guests murmured, and Kate, undeterred, shouted into the microphone, "It's a lie."
Julie, it was your husband who came to me.
At that, my husband shouted back,
No, she forced it on me.
Then the groom's relatives stood up, forks in hand. As for me, my name is Julie, and I'm a 42-year-old housewife. I met my husband, Bob, 2 years my senior at work, and we eventually got married. I settled into homemaking, but there was one problem. It was my best friend Kate's habit of extravagant spending. Kate is the daughter of a wealthy CEO, loaded with cash. My family, on the other hand, is middle class, so our views on money don't exactly match. Still, she constantly invited me to go on trips or other outings. When I tried to decline politely, she'd beg like a child.
Come on, it's just a little trip, right? Are you seriously saying no? Don't you have any savings from when you were single? Or is it that you hate me?
It's not that. I just have other things to do.
Then when will you go with me? It's a waste not to go shopping when the sales are starting. Come on, let's go, please.
Whether I had plans or not, I'd always find some excuse to dodge her requests. The one time I did go on a trip with her, it turned out to be a luxury hotel that was far beyond what I could afford, and Kate would shop up a storm, leaving me trailing behind. But back in school, I wasn't great at academics or sports, so having Kate as a friend was a big deal. I honestly wanted to avoid fights and didn't want to end our friendship. Kate and I go way back to elementary school. We sat next to each other and quickly became close friends, eventually best friends. Then one day, she invited me to her wedding. I'll definitely be there, Kate.
You'll give the maid of honor speech, right?
Leave it to me. Clueless as ever, Kate sounded thrilled over the phone. She even invited my husband, saying, "Bring Bob too," so I filled him in. "Would you come with me to Kate's wedding?" She asked us to come as a couple.
Oh, your best friend? Kate, right? Sure, I'll take the day off. When is it?
Bob took some time off for it. Then, on the day of the wedding, Bob and I attended together, and the ceremony proceeded smoothly.
Next, we have a speech from Julie Anderson, representing the friends of the bride.
It was finally my turn. I had been waiting for this moment. Just watch, Kate. I'll make this a wedding you'll never forget. I walked up to the microphone and, without much of a greeting, began to read my letter. To me, Kate has always been a thief. The room stirred, but everything was going according to my plan. Kate was the type of person who wanted everything I had and took it boldly, to the point where I was left stunned. We met in elementary school. Just when I thought I'd made a good friend, it turned out Kate was anything but. Cute pencils, erasers, even brand new notebooks, everything you name it, and Kate took it from me. Then, as adults, she took my boyfriends multiple times and hurt me without so much as a hint of remorse. And yet, she always insisted she'd done nothing wrong. I was deceived. We aren't friends anymore. I was a complete fool for thinking friendship was important. Kate even tried to get involved with my husband, Bob Anderson. Despite being engaged, she had the nerve to make advances on someone else's husband. Not only that, but my private investigator found that Kate had been with numerous other men, living recklessly and selfishly each day. Tell me, Kate, who is the father of the child you're carrying? As a final piece of advice, I suggest a DNA test for the child's sake. It might be wise to establish paternity. I smiled sweetly at Kate. Her face twisted with anger. Yes, this was the expression I had wanted to see. The wedding hall buzzed with murmurs that refused to quiet down. The MC looked lost, unsure of what to do, and the staff stood around, helpless and nervous. I felt sorry to the MC, but this had to be done. I know it's probably the first time he's seen something like this, but please bear with me. I returned to my seat. Bob, sitting beside me, looked pale and was trembling.
Julie, it's not true.
Kate shouted into the microphone.
Julie, it was Bob who came to me.
Bob, sitting beside me, reacted to her words and retorted.
No. She forced me into it.
But it was too late. The groom's relatives gripped their forks tightly, advancing on Kate.
Kate, what's the meaning of this?
This wedding was for the merger between our families as companies, and you're here to disgrace our name.
Consider our merger canceled.
We don't need a conniving woman like her in our family.
Wait, this is a misunderstanding.
I stood up and left first. And I reminded myself that I no longer had my best friend as I headed home. I prepared for divorce, ready to confront Bob when he returned, though he showed up much sooner than expected. Oh, you couldn't stand to stay there any longer, could you? When I spoke with a hint of malice, Bob, still in his suit, started apologizing.
It's not what you think. Kate took me to the hotel, and she pressured me. And it was only that one time. But it was a mistake. She kept threatening me with that one time and pushed for it over and over. You're the only one I love. I don't plan on marrying Kate. Really, I swear. Please forgive me.
But you were with her, weren't you? And multiple times. And yet you claim I'm the only one you love. That's a pretty shallow kind of love. What would your parents think?
Please, don't tell them. I'll make it up to you for the rest of my life. I swear, I'll never cheat again. Just please, don't make me go through a divorce. Anything but that.
Then go on, sign this. I returned his gaze coldly and held out the petition for divorce.
Petition for divorce? But I
had you investigated too. When I looked into Kate, I also found photos of you with her. You both seemed so happy. That smile is such a big one. You just said you only love me, but clearly you smile like that for other women too.
That's...
Go on, sign it. I pressed him to sign the petition for divorce, but instead he tore them to shreds. No.
Please, anything but a divorce. I can't make decisions on my own. I'm too indecisive. Let's talk this out. I'll make it up to you, no matter how long it takes.
Don't worry, I have about 50 more copies of those papers.
What?
I knew you wouldn't agree so easily. You can't even choose your own clothes or food, yet you chose Kate, and now you want to work on our marriage? Don't be ridiculous. Just sign the petition for divorce already. I pulled out another copy of the petition for divorce and thrust it at him. Bob apologized over and over, but I had no intention of forgiving him. Just then, the doorbell rang. I wondered who could possibly be here at a time like this. I even heard banging on the front door.
It's me. Open up.
Kate? I refused to open the door. After all, it was because of her that I was losing my husband. I had no intention of letting her in until I heard the key turn. What?
Just in case, Bob gave me a spare key.
Kate entered the doorway with a pleased look on her face, but I blocked her path and we began to struggle at the door.
Bob, please listen to me. My groom abandoned me. Bob, take me instead.
I was stunned. I slapped Kate across the face.
How dare you?
Because of you, I've lost everything. I'm done with you, Kate. We were never friends. Do you even know how many people have suffered because of you? Do you realize just how many people hate you? Your life is yours, but could you please stop messing up other people's lives? As for Bob, you can have him. Both of you, get out.
How rude. You know you're completely useless on your own. You only managed not to be alone because I was around. And about those trips, you can't deny you actually enjoyed them.
Thanks to your spending habits, my retirement is in jeopardy. Not everyone has money to burn. Bob, go on, get out. Isn't your ride here already? I threw Bob and Kate out and found myself alone. The house fell silent. When I went into the living room, I saw the petition for divorce signed by Bob. Kate's family is wealthy. They can easily cover the cost of a nearby hotel. Since then, Bob has come back a few times to pick up clothes or work essentials, but I ignored him completely.
Hey, Julie.
Does he still think he can talk to me after everything? Give me a break. I'm in no mood to entertain him. Does he really believe that buttering me up will bring us back together? Not a chance. This man is no longer worth my time. I turned up the TV volume on purpose, making it clear that I had no interest in talking to him. Defeated, Bob left the house. A few days later, I answered the door to find his parents standing there. Oh.
Julie, we're so sorry. We had no idea Bob would get involved with another woman. It's unforgivable. He's explained everything to us.
Bob told you?
He asked for financial help because he had no house and car now. So he had to tell us the whole story. We're truly sorry, Julie. You've been such a wonderful daughter-in-law, and he's been such a foolish son.
Please come in. I'll get some tea. I discussed the future with his parents.
You're planning to pay off home loan by yourself, right? We'll cover half in one lump sum.
But that would affect your retirement. Besides, it's Bob's fault. I'd rather he paid for it himself.
Let us handle half of it up front, and we'll have Bob pay us back. We're so sorry it came to this. We'll make sure he learns his lesson.
I hesitated but recognized I needed money to get by. So I accepted the offer from my in-laws, or rather, my ex-in-laws, now that the divorce was filed. Later, I received money from my ex-in-laws. Bob kept insisting he wanted to get back together, but I hung up on him every time. When I caught up with mutual friends who had been at the wedding, I learned that Kate had married Bob, only for them to break up eventually. It turned out that, due to her marriage failing, her parents disowned her since the marriage was critical for a corporate merger. Now, with no money and no support from her family, she's apparently moving from one friend's house to another. As I shopped, I thought to myself, I guess after the kind of public exposure I put her through, she won't be able to go back to her family now. Her days as the daughter of a powerful CEO are over, and my revenge is complete. Now she can enjoy her downward spiral. When I got home, I found the door unlocked. Bob hadn't returned his key. Bob, is that you? When I went into the living room, there was Kate. Since she's pregnant, her stomach is slightly showing. What do you think you're doing in my house? And drinking alcohol? Think of that poor baby. As I spoke, I quickly sent a mass email from my phone.
The baby's no use to me now.
What are you saying?
Because of your ridiculous accusations, my father disowned me. Everything was going perfectly until you came along. Was it that unbearable to lose Bob to me? How am I supposed to live now? Oh, are you telling me you expect me to work? I got an alimony claim from you, but there's no way I'm paying it. I don't have the money anyway.
Our conversation turned into a heated argument, and things quickly got ugly. Really, you have no one but yourself to blame. Don't you realize what you've done to people's lives? How long are you going to pretend to be a princess? People called you Marie Antoinette behind your back for good reason. You're the queen of bad debt.
My groom left me. Bob made me sign divorce papers, and I've been disowned. What's left? And to think I lowered myself to be friends with someone as poor and tasteless as you.
So that's how you really feel. Just then, the doorbell rang. I let in the men who'd arrived. When Kate saw them, her expression froze.
Kate, I want the $10,000 you borrowed right now.
I loaned you $15,000 for your wedding.
Only to find out you married a different guy. We were all deceived.
Hey, Kate, what are you gonna do about this?
Wait.
These were the men I discovered through the investigation, all of whom Kate had strung along. I'd already told them about Kate's deeds. Surrounded and accused, Kate had nowhere to run. Serves her right. Sorry, but I'm not helping you out. How many men can someone lie to at once? Since you clearly have no understanding of others' pain, I'll teach you myself.
No, it's not true.
Not true? You tricked us.
If you can't pay us back, you'll have to work forever.
We're not backing down.
I watched coldly from the kitchen counter as the scene unfolded. Finally, Kate began to cry like a child. But the men's anger wouldn't subside.
Do you think crying is going to fix this?
You made fools of us all.
You're going to pay us back one way or another. And that baby you're carrying, who even knows whose it is?
Don't ever show your face to us again.
You lowlife. You money-hungry tramp.
Listening to them, I learned that although she came from wealth, she had borrowed money from these men. She'd likely spent it all on her lavish lifestyle. She'd coasted through life, enjoying herself without working a day. Now, she's facing the consequences of her actions. I wanted to shout, "Serves you right," but I kept quiet. The men left one by one. I said to her coldly as she sobbed, "You spoiled brat. Now, get out of here. You don't belong here anymore. We're not friends, remember? Leave now, or I'll call the police for fraud."
But I have nowhere to go. Let me stay here. I have no money, and no one's going to take me with a stomach like this.
Then get a job, although good luck finding someone who'll hire a pregnant woman. But you're not staying here. This is my house. Why don't you go stay at Bob's? I'm sure he'll let you crash there. Oh, right, you got divorced. Find your own place to stay. Now, hand over the key, or do you want me to call the police? You're the one who brought this upon yourself. It's time you take responsibility. Sobbing, Kate pulled out the house key. I swiftly took it from her. Now, leave. Even if you don't have a place to go, don't come back here. I'm telling you again, I've got evidence of your fraud, so do you really want the police involved? Try living off welfare if you must, scraping by on a smaller budget. Not everyone's as spoiled as you. Start over from the bottom.
Please, what's welfare? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to live? You're my friend, right? My best friend? Help me.
I'd never met someone so utterly self-centered. Finally, I reached my breaking point. Enough. Get out of here. I'm not giving you a cent, and I never want to see you again. Everyone else works hard to live their lives. There's no easy life like the one you've been living. Now, leave. I'm ordering you. Get out of my house.
But it's cold outside.
I don't care. I forced Kate out. This is how it should be. I want nothing more to do with her. My life returned to peace for a while. With the alimony from Bob's parents, I wasn't struggling financially. But I knew I needed to be careful with that money. I didn't want to wait until I ran out to look for a job, so I applied for a cashier position nearby. At first, it took some getting used to, but the work went smoothly. Then one day, when I got home from my shift, I saw Kate throwing eggs at my windows and door. She hadn't noticed I was there. I called the police. "Officer, it's her." That's when Kate finally noticed me and the police officer.
"Ma'am, what do you think you're doing? Throwing eggs at someone's house."
The officer shouted. Kate, who'd been gleefully throwing eggs just a moment before, looked shocked to see the officer. Since this is an apartment complex, the commotion quickly drew neighbors from the surrounding units.
"What's going on over there?"
"Throwing eggs at someone's house? That's awful."
"Is this some sort of revenge?"
As the neighbors murmured, the officer began questioning her.
"What were you doing here? Be honest."
It's her fault. She took everything from me. I'm not the bad one here.
"Look, throwing eggs at someone's property is serious. Who do you think is going to clean this mess?"
I don't care. I'm not the one at fault. It's her. She took my happiness. Don't you think it's unforgivable?
Kate was put into the police car, and it drove away. It seems they'll be questioning her at the police station. I started to clean up the egg mess, feeling exhausted.
"Well, would you like some help?"
To my surprise, my neighbors on both sides offered to lend a hand. Really?
"It's still a little while before dinner."
"What happened here anyway?"
With their help, I managed to clean the entrance and windows, and I gave them a quick summary of the situation.
What? That's awful.
She's taking revenge on you for no reason. Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Well, if anything happens again, let us know.
At least we can help with cleaning.
Thank you so much. After the entrance and windows were reasonably clean, my neighbors went home. I went back inside too, and, not feeling like making dinner, just went straight to bed. The next morning, I got a call. Half asleep, I answered. Hello.
Hey, Julie, did you say something to my boss? You must have said something.
It was Bob on the phone. Huh? I replied irritably, still groggy from being woken up. Your boss? I haven't said anything. Is this about the divorce or the affair? I kept quiet out of pity.
There are rumors about me at work, saying I had an affair with the CEO's daughter. Hey, did you say something? Why are you doing this to me?
I told you it wasn't me, wasn't it, Kate? And if you left the sales department, you can't pay back the alimony to your parents. There's no way I'd jeopardize that.
Please help me. My savings are about to run dry. Could you give the money back to my parents? I'm begging you. The manager demoted me to a regional subsidiary for damaging the company's reputation. I can barely afford to live on my own.
As long as you're saying things like that, I will not give money back to your parents. If you're going to make amends, pay the alimony properly. I hung up and blocked both Kate's and Bob's numbers. After dozing off again, I woke up as morning light filled the room. I'm not one to lounge around, so I made myself breakfast. Today, I had a day off from my cashier job, so after cleaning up, I figured I'd watch some TV. Soon, I finished cleaning and doing laundry. After years as a homemaker, I'm quick with these things. Turning on the TV, I caught the midday news. There, I saw Kate's face. What? My initial shock turned into understanding as the anchor spoke.
A woman named Kate Brown has been arrested by police for marriage fraud after deceiving several men and taking a job in the black market.
It seems she's pregnant as well, isn't she?
Yes, the child may be placed in the care of social services.
The female anchor looked concerned, but I wasn't. In fact, I wasn't surprised she'd ended up in the black market. That's the consequence of her carefree, lavish lifestyle, spending without knowing the value of a single dollar.
Breaking news. Another black market crime, perhaps. A jewelry store in Manhattan was robbed, and the thieves have fled. Damages are estimated at $100,000.
These black market crimes are terrifying, aren't they? They seem to just keep happening.
Yes, these black market crimes.
I changed the channel, and a comedy show was on. I was watching it when my phone rang. It was from Bob's father. Hello, what's going on?
Julie, I need you to stay calm. Bob apparently got involved in a black market job and robbed a jewelry store in Manhattan.
What? I was at a loss for words. Why? How?
He said he fell out of place at work, so he ended up applying for a black market job. A police officer came by, asking where he might be. My fool of a son, how could he do such a thing?
Even being associated with black market activities is a crime. I hoped Bob would be caught quickly.
Anyway, if he shows up, call the police right away. Okay, Julie?
Oh, understood. The call ended there. What a foolish thing to do, no matter how desperate he was for money. But it's just a matter of time now. The police are capable. Well, I won't be defending him when he gets caught. Still, the fact that people like him and Kate were once family and friends. My parents would have been furious if they knew. Not that they're around anymore. Thinking this, I made myself lunch. But after that call with my ex-father-in-law, I could feel my mood drop. Why would anyone turn to the black market? It's so ridiculous. Everyone could live normal lives if they just worked normally. And as for Kate, pregnant and arrested for marriage fraud, what's going to happen to that baby? Hopefully, her parents won't refuse custody, or the baby will end up in the system. It's so sad for the child's future. My thoughts were right on the mark. Later, I met a friend for coffee.
Hey, did you hear about Kate? She gave birth in prison, and it was a really difficult labor. Her parents refused custody, so the baby's going to an infant home.
Well, that's how it goes. I sipped my coffee. This friend had heard my speech at the wedding.
Julie, you've been through a lot too with all Kate took from you.
It's fine. It's all in the past. I don't let it bother me, or I wouldn't be able to live.
Glad to see you're doing well.
My friend and I had a light-hearted conversation, though most of it was about Kate's misdeeds. Just as I had few friends, the selfish Kate didn't have any other. At first, I didn't want to cut ties, but now I realize it was necessary. Eventually, Bob and a few others were arrested. They had tried to pawn off the stolen jewelry, only for the shop to report it as stolen, leading to their immediate arrest. The apps used in the black market are said to leave little trace, but recently, the police have gotten smarter and recovered enough evidence to corner Bob. Well, it's his own fault. I thought to myself, you can atone for the crimes you committed on your own. With both Bob and Kate behind bars, I sometimes wonder what my life up until now was all about. But with life expectancy being what it is, my real life starts now. With that thought, I decided to take up a new hobby. Later, I attended the court trial of both Bob and Kate, who were implicated in the black market crimes. Kate's parents' company lost significant trust due to her actions. Kate complained to the judge.
Even with a child, once I finish my sentence, I'll have nowhere to go. Please, give me life in prison. I want to live in jail forever.
This is the first time I've ever heard someone request life imprisonment for themselves. Kate was sentenced to several years. At that, she lashed out at the judge.
What? That's it. You think you're so great, huh? I asked for life in prison.
Order. Please remain quiet.
You think you're above everyone else.
Kate was escorted out by the bailiff. Bob's trial was the opposite. He admitted his guilt calmly. His lawyer requested a reduced sentence, but the prosecution's argument prevailed, highlighting the growing issue of black market crimes. Reduction wasn't an option. And so, the two of them ended up behind bars. I've started going to a yoga class and am enjoying my life as a single woman. In this way, I finally found happiness.